Tonight at 6, we're continuing our coverage surrounding racial disparities in Rochester Public Schools. Last night, we took you to a meeting where parents shared their stories of racial bias and unfair discipline. This all comes after the Office of Civil Rights determined students of color at Rochester Public Schools were being unfairly disciplined in 2016. Now today, KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson is taking a closer look at the diversity within the school district. Annalise.
Katie, I'm here at the Rochester Edison building because I'm taking a closer look at the racial and ethnic demographics of Rochester Public School students and those who teach them.
Do you feel that the demographic of Rochester Public School teachers represents you?
No, I don't think so.
Manjari Majumdar recently graduated from John Marshall High School and feels that while having mostly white teachers hasn't necessarily hindered her education, she could have benefited from learning from diverse people.
Not just me, but if there are other students of other cultures, it provides a way to relate and learn better if there's somebody that's maybe looks a little bit more like you and understands where you're coming from.
It's something Diversity Council Equity Logic Manager Heidi Wilkins has seen in her involvement in the council and as a parent.
My son is in 8th grade and he's had one teacher of color in his whole schooling career.
Here's a breakdown of the racial and ethnic makeup of Rochester Public School students. According to the Minnesota Department of Education, of the almost 17,800 students enrolled in RPS in the 2018 year, about 60% are white, meaning 40% of students have a different racial or ethnic identity. The number of non-white students in Rochester is higher than the Minnesota average by 6%. When you compare that to educators in the district, according to numbers provided by RPS, around 96% of the almost 1,500 staff members are white, and 3% have a different racial or ethnic identity. So I asked Wilkins and Majumdar if they think the difference in demographics between Rochester Public School students and teachers could account for the disciplinary actions against students of color that the U.S. Department of Public Health is investigating, and they think it's possible.
If you haven't experienced the things that the students are going through, you're not going to understand how to discipline them properly or figure out exactly why they're acting out.
We're all inherently biased, so I think when punishing a student, that might play into it.
While Majumdar tells me that her teachers during her school career have been primarily white, she does feel that her substitute teachers have been more diverse. Live in Rochester, Annalise Johnson, KIMT News 3.
All right, very good. Thank you, Annalise. And that's where the Minnesota Department of Human Rights is stepping in. They're working to get 43 different school districts now across Minnesota, RPS being one of them, to sign an agreement which would address the disparities and keep the Department of Human Rights from initiating an investigation into the school district.